Alright, so today's video will be very simple. No B-roll, no fancy edit. I need to get a few messages out. And I need to film some videos really fast because I'm about to shut down Thomas & Stereo sometime late January and February. So I need to get all my reviews out. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I got a lot of questions regarding the Willsenton R8, the Cayin CS55A, as well as the Doge 10. Everyone's asking me which one should I buy. Now, I always say there's no such thing as the best. There's only the right amp for you, but the best amp does not exist. And by the way, I am not arguing with zero fidelity because in my title of the Doge 10, I said zero fidelity is wrong and blah, blah, blah. And some people thought that I was arguing with him. No, we chat every day. In fact, before I post my video, I sent it to him and he was laughing at it and said, yeah, Thomas, do it, man. Let's talk about the 3 integrated amp, because I'm sure some of you will have buyer's remorse. I bought the R8, Thomas, now you tell me the bloody Doge 10 is like the bestest thing ever. You know, couldn't you tell me before I bought the R8? And those of you who bought the Cayin CS55A will be like, should I be upgrading to the cheaper Doge 10? And the answer is, you know what? I think I mentioned in my videos that 30% of you will like the Doge 10. And I wasn't kidding there. I understand it's very attractive because of the way I present it. You're going to get high-end performance at basement bargain price. That idea is very seductive, right? Everybody is attracted to that kind of idea. And I guess I oversold the idea in the Doge 10, so that's why everybody's jumping on it. So that's why I want to make this video to clarify a few things. And everything I said in my 3 videos, I stand behind it. It is true, okay? But I want to also take the time to compare all 3 so that whenever I get this question, I can just go watch the video. All right, guys? So let's talk about it. Alright, so who should buy the Willsenton R8? I say anybody with restricted budget or who prefer a fun sound will buy the R8. Fun defined as exaggerated in certain frequency, bass specifically. If budget is not your concern, you go for the Cayin CS55A because it's a more balanced sound. So I asked Mr. Jazz, now that you have tried all 3 integrated amp, what stands out? What do you think? The Cayin CS55A, he said, nothing stands out. And actually, if you really think about it, that is fantastic. When nothing stands out, everything stands out. I know it sounds weird, but think about that for a second. The Willsenton R8, the value stands out. The Doge 10, the soundstage and the forward presentation stands out. So it comes down to your priority. Willsenton R8 strength is also its weakness. The strength is in its heavy bass. Fun, exaggeration. When Mr. Kanta, Mr. Jazz, Loic and me heard it, the first few seconds we can tell right away what the problem is with it. The bass is not tight and it's not precise. For us, it sounds as on the borderline of muddiness, but you can solve it by changing the tubes in the front. Okay, so it's not really a big issue, but for somebody like us who hear a lot of different gear, that's the first thing we catch. Now, having said that, what does it mean? A few audiophiles say that, you know, the bass could be tighter. Big deal. Because for me, it's always a question of taste. Some of you, for us, it might be, let's say, a 5 on 10 when it comes to bass. But for some people, it might be a 9 on 10. Why? Because they like the weight and the punch from the R8. Heavy MSG, exaggerated, fantastic. If I have to define it, it's like the R8 is a gorilla punching at you. You're going to feel it, man. The Cayin is a boxer punching at you. Control. The Doge 10 is Bruce Lee punching at you. Precise and accurate. And so there is no right or wrong. Some people want to feel the impact of the bass. You know what? The other day, Mr. Kanta told me, Thomas, man, I missed the R8 because when I went back to my own gear, which was very high-end gear, the bass, man, is quote-unquote neutral, accurate. When I listen to those tracks, when that bass kicks in, it just doesn't have that extra oomph as the R8. R8 overall, as I said, is a 7 on 10. Sure, you might say, Thomas, man, but I want the best possible soundstation in the universe. I want the Doge 10 because of that. Seriously, man, once you reach a certain point, it becomes good enough, right? Sometimes sweet is sweet enough. You don't want it to be too sweet too. So you get all that in the R8. I always think if you love the voicing of the R8, you probably won't like the Doge and the Cayin because it won't feel as satisfying, as not as punchy. There's a lot to say about that. And also the Willsenton R8 is smooth enough, round enough that it pairs well with, let's say, the trio, the triangle trio, which is, for those of you who have not seen that video, I mentioned it in that video. That pairing is fantastic. You know what? You take the triangle trio and you pair with the Doge 10, it's not easy to listen to. So the R8 pairs better with a lot of speakers. So if budget is your number one, fun is your number two, then the R8 is the right solution. You change the tubes in the front, man, you elevate the performance of the R8 significantly. Not just by bits, significantly. So the Cayin is what I'm really comfortable recommending because Cayin and R8 pairs well with all kind of speakers. Bass heavy speakers maybe not as good with the R8, but the Cayin, any kind of speaker. Actually for me, where it stands out, the Cayin, is in the mid-range smoothness. My heart melts when I listen to it. It's like really relaxing. And especially when you come from the Doge 10, when you switch to Cayin, it's like, oh, I can take a break and just enjoy the music. It is smooth, it is fluid, especially if you use 6550 Coke bottle tubes on it, you're going to see a big improvement. You see, R8, interestingly, if you change the tubes behind, it doesn't do much. The Cayin does a lot. So the potential of the Cayin is significantly higher. But of course, the price is what, almost double the price of the R8, but you get a DAC and you get phono stage. So it is really good value. So if you ask me to choose between the three, I say the Cayin is the right choice if budget is not a problem. So in short, Cayin, very stable sound. If you're into human vocal, that's the main tail listening, and you want sweetness in the vocal, you go for the Cayin. All right, so let's move on to the Doge 10. Now, as I mentioned, Cayin R8 can pair easily with a lot of speakers. For example, in my triangle trio video that I just made, I said the R8 pairs extremely well with the trio. The Doge 10, not at all. So let me really talk about why I say 30% of you will appreciate the Doge 10. The slight forward nature of the presentation can make the whole presentation sound a bit shouty. If you pair it with, let's say, a full cow or a horn speaker, you'll be impressed for the first 30 minutes. Can you survive long listening session? That's a different story. So that's why in the comment section, whenever people write an email to me and whenever I answer about clip speakers, horn speakers, I'm like, it might be too much of a good thing. Because horn speakers by nature are shouty. So, S400, I don't know, man, I'm not too sure. Granted, there are some people who said that the Doge 5 pair well with the S400. I remember reading a comment like that. And once again, because I'm so careful with this listening fatigue problem, that's why I'm like, let's hold back for now. Let me bring the Doge 10 to Russ home one day, try with the clips, and then I can tell you, is it too much of a good thing? At my home, the Trio and the 1008 full cow was, among all my speakers, the one that matches the least good. Trio being the least. However, there is a however. I might not get the sweet mid-range of the Cayin CS55A. The bump in that mid-range is fantastic when it comes to cello, violin. Why? Think about it. When I listen to cello with the CS55A, it's smooth sounding, it's, it melts your heart, but after a while I'm like, damn, it's not aggressive. Cello, violin is supposed to be aggressive. You're supposed to feel the string, the resistance. You don't hear that with the Cayin. It's just smooth. With the Doge, you're gonna feel that violin and cello, and it's great. Because, as I mentioned to Sean, it's like eating spicy food, right? It's a bit painful, but it's delicious. The price you pay with the bad match, with bad recording, when it comes to vocal, is a little bit shouty. So that's why with the Doge 10, I find myself listening mostly to good recording. And I was telling Loic, I say, the problem with Doge 10 is like playing with high-end audio. High-end audio, there's pain playing with it. Budget gear, easy to get it to sound good. High-end audio, difficult to get it to sound good. Synergy, system matching, and the willingness to tweak the system all comes into play. That's why I said people who play in high-end audio play with cables, because sometimes that slight brightness, less brightness, is all in that cable that you use it with. I know a lot of you don't believe in cables, but I'm just sharing my experience. To get the Doge 10 to sound good at my place is I had to try different DAC. The Musical Paradise tube DAC actually was very good with the Doge 10 and my Sonata speaker. And yes, I had to play with cables. So don't expect you to take the Doge 10 home and it'll sound fantastic. You might need to put a bit of effort. I like it with the 6550 tubes. Those are serving tubes, but those are like very expensive tubes. But that's the price you have to pay for if you're playing in the higher end bracket where you want to fine tune it to perfection. So I equate playing with the Doge 10 like playing with lottery, man. It's hard to win the lottery, but when you win the lottery, when you get everything right, you're gonna win big. The reward is big. Now, I did speak to Mark about it. I said, you know what, I wish it was just a bit warmer, right? Because in my video, I mentioned that, there's no warmth in the mid-range. And he told me, Thomas, man, it's actually very easy. There's two caps inside, you change it, you add warmth to the Doge 10. It's just a question of voicing. They voice it that way. You want punchy bass, like, for example, like the R8, like a lot of weight, you can do it actually. I know because I play some song that were mastered to be a bit over-exaggerated in bass, and I can feel that punch from the Doge. In fact, it has more than the R8. In terms of raw power, it has it. So that's why I say if you have a low-key man, bump up the bass and it will surpass the R8 in terms of fun factor. Maybe, who knows, maybe one day I'll decide to change the two caps on the Doge 10 and add a bit more warmth to it. Apparently it's a 5-minute job. I don't know. We'll see. So in short, I would say the Doge 10 works best with speakers that are not known to be overly bright. Loic works great at his place because he has Verity Audio. Fidello, those are known to be a little bit rolled off. I don't know why Mr. Jazz, it worked well at his place, because Rido D1s are known to be sharp. Maybe because Mr. Jazz don't listen to music loud, and therefore he does not have any issue. But to summarize, every time when somebody asks me that question, I say, you might want to hold back on horns or bright speakers. Any other speaker should be fine. All right, guys, so let's wrap it up at this point. If you bought the R8 and you enjoy it, because I don't know if you upgrade to the Doge 10, you would actually enjoy it, or even the Cayin CS55A. You mostly enjoy the Cayin CS55A, but you'll miss that fun factor. If you bought the Cayin CS55A and you enjoy it, then seriously, man, you make the right choice. Because as much as I like to say the Doge 10 soundstage is superior, which it is, the smoothness, the roundness, the sweetness of the mid-range from the CS55A, for some people, is to die for. And also, if you think about it logically, as much as the Doge 10 soundstage blows the other ones away, it doesn't really, because the R8 and CS55A soundstage is still fantastic. Now, the Doge 10, I worry that, hey man, what happened if people don't like that slight forward presentation? Then I thought to myself, you know what, the Yamaha AS2200 has similar presentation, and yet a lot of people love it. So that's why I am confident that a lot of you, 30% of you, will like it too. But for those of you who got it, and if it doesn't work for you, take the time to fine tune it. And it could be just changing one component in your system, and it will just change the whole presentation. I know that a lot of you are like debating, should I buy it or should I not buy it? I hope that this video will give you something more to think about. And also in the upcoming few weeks, people will be receiving their Doge 10 and they'll be sharing their experience. You can wait for that. And what you should be asking is not whether they love it or hate it, but if you love it, what speakers and DAC and cables you're using with it. If you don't like it, don't just go like, oh man, it must be crap, it must be garbage. Ask specifically, what are you pairing it with? So I think that's the better way to approach all this. So for today's sound demo, I'll try to showcase the difference between the 3 integrated amp. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.
It's not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Won't you try me? Ain't no way I could deny you. I could try. Won't you kiss me? Ain't no way. Won't you? Come and try me now. So it's not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Won't you try me? Ain't no way I could deny you. I could try. Won't you kiss me? Ain't no way. Won't you? Come and try me now. So I never